everyone. Today we are going to discuss the history of English authors along with their works. It would be a long video, so we would do it in parts like part one, two, and three. So let's start with the discussion. So first author we have is Catmon, who wrote Hymn of Nine Historically Precious in 1680 AD. Then we have Sinwolf, who in the year of 1720 or 1730 AD wrote Dream of the Rood and Elaine and then Christ. So then we have Venerable Bede, who lived between 1673 and 1735. He wrote Ecclesiastical History of the English People, that it is very important work in terms of English history, and many works cite it. We come to know about the history of English literature a lot from this work, Ecclesiastical History of the English People. Then we have King Alfred, who lived from 1849 to 1901. He wrote Ecclesiastical History. Then we have John Wycliffe, who lived from 1320 to 1384. He wrote English language Bible manuscripts. So he is the one who first started translating English Bible in the English language. Then we have Geoffrey Chaucer, who lived from 1340 to 1400. He wrote the Book of the Duchess, the House of Fame, Troilus and Cresside, the Parliament of Fowls, the Canterbury Tales, of course, the most important work in English language. So I'm not mentioning the year, so you can just see when these works were published. I think that would reduce the length of the video significantly. So then we have Petrarch, who wrote The Secret, which was Secretum in the original language. Then we have Triumphs, Canzoniere, which is translated as Songbook. Then we have his sonnet, which is important. I'm just keep in mind, I'm just discussing important works that can be useful for your study of literature. He wrote Breeze Blowing That Blonde Curling Hair. Then we have Boccaccio, who wrote Decameron, which is also very important work. Then we have John Gower, who wrote these important works, Speculum Meditantis, Vox Clementis. Then we have Confessio Mentis. So all these works are very important, and they have been asked many times in the UGC NET exam. Then we have William Langlet, The Vision of William Concerning Piers the Plowman. Then we have John Barbour, who wrote The Brus. Then we have Thomas Occleve, Mother of God, Ballad to the Virgin and Christ. In Old English, I think they wrote ballad like this. Then we have John Lydgate, who wrote the Troy Book, Siege of Thebes, The Fall of Princes, and I think some poem, The Complaint of the Black Knight. And I seem to have heard it has come in the English NET exam. Then we have William Dunbar, The Thistle and the Rose, The Flighting of Dunbar and Kennedy, Dance of the Seven Deadly Sins, The Lament of the Macquaries. Then we have Sir Thomas Malory, so a very important work, The Death of Arthur, which was originally Le Morte de Arthur. Then we have William Tyndale, who is famously known for translating, who was English New Testament. Then we have Sir Thomas More, Utopia, very cited work. and it was translated in English language in 1551. Then we have History of King Richard III. Then we have the writer Roger Ascham. Talks of Phyllis or School of Shooting. Again, very important work, both of these, and the Schoolmaster as well. Then we have Sir Thomas White. Again, I have just noted down the famous poems by him. Whose List to Hunt? My galley charged with forgetfulness. They flee from me. Farewell, love. Then we have Henry Howard or Love Story. He and Thomas White are famous for bringing the sonnet form to England and English language. Kindly make note of that. Then we have Alas, so all things now do hold their peace. Complaint of the absence of her love being upon the sea. I think I have made some mix up in this title. Please check it. Then we have Thomas Sackville, Induction, Complaint of Buckingham, Garbutuck, which he co-wrote with Thomas Norton. Then we have Mirror of Magistrates. Next we have Nicholas Udall, Rolf Doyster, very important play. Then we have Edmund Spenser, Shepherd's Calendar, Astrophel and Stella, The Fairy Queen, Amorati, Epithalamium. Then we have Sir Philip Sidney, Astrophel and Stella, Arcadia, Apology for Poetry. Then we have John Donne, again the famous poems by him, The Good Morrow, The Canonization, Better My Here, Three-Personed God, The Sun Rising, Forbidding Morning. Then we have John Lyly, Euphues, and Endymion, The Woman in the Moon. Then we have important playwright, Christopher Marlowe, Tamburlaine the Great, Dr. Faustus, The Jew of Malta, then Edward II. Now, then we have The Hero and the Leander, a poem by Christopher Marlowe, which was completed by George Chapman. Then we have our hero, William Shakespeare. I know he wrote a lot of play, but I have just noted down the famous ones and important ones. Romeo and Juliet, 1594. The Merchant of Venice, Much Ado About Nothing, Julius Caesar, Hamlet, Twelfth Night, Othello, King Lear, Macbeth, Antony and Cleopatra, The Tempest, Venus and Adonis, the Rape of Lucrece, Fear No More the Heat of the Sun, Song from Cymbeline. I have noted down this this song famously because I think it is used in the Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. Then we have the lunatic, the lover, and the poet. Then we have Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? When in disgrace with fortune and men's eyes. Again, these are famous sonnets which you should read. And we have went to the sessions of sweet silent thought, nor marvel, nor the gilded monuments. To me, fair friend, you never can be old, when in the chronicle of wasted time, Let me not to the marriage of true minds. Again, very, very important sonnet. My mistress' eyes are nothing like the sun. So now I have confessed that he is mine, he is thine. When my love swears, my love is as a fever, longing still. In loving thee, thou knowest I am forsworn, the little love god lying once asleep. Then we have Ben Jonson, again, very important playwright and contemporary of William Shakespeare. Every man in his humor, Volpine or the fox, Apicon or the silent woman, the alchemist. Then we have John Webster, White Devil, the Duchess of Malfi. Again, these are important, very important works. And we have John Fletcher, The Scornful Lady, A Wife for a Month. A Wife for a Month is very important restoration period, before the restoration period play. Then we have Francis Beaumont, who with Fletcher wrote many plays. Fletcher is supposed to have written many plays. Their famous ones are The Maid's Tragedy, A King and No King. Then we have Francis Bacon, the famous essayist. Then we have his work Advancement of Learning, Novum Organum, Essays or Counsels, Civils and Moral, of Studies, important essay, often cited, on Friendship, again often cited and studied. Then we have Walter Raleigh, History of the World, The Names Reply to the Shepherd. Then we have Richard Hooker, Learned Discourse of Justification, Ecclesiastical Polity. This Ecclesiastical Polity is important work. Then we have John Milton, important writer for Paradise Lost. We have Alargo, Il Pensireso. I don't know how to pronounce it. Then we have Comus, Lycidas, Areopagitica, Paradise Lost, Paradise Regained, Samson, Agonist. Then we have Robert Herrick, novel Number, Hesperides, and important cited poem to the virgins to make much of time. For Unversed, it is also in the famous film, one of my favorites, Dead Poets Society. It is cited in that film. Then we have Corinus going Maying. Then we have Thomas Carlyle, Sir John Suckling, and Richard Lovelace. Because they have written, they are Cavalier poets. That's why I have grouped them in one place. He That Loves a Rosy Cheek. Then we have Why So Pale and Wan, Fond Lover by Sir John Suckling. And Richard Lovelace, important poem, To Aldea from Prison. And then we have Andrew Marvell, his important poems, The Garden, the Horatian Ode, often most cited, To His Shy Mistress. Then we have George Herbert, his poem, The Temple. Then we have Abraham Colley, The Mistress, and of course the famous Pindari Codes. Then we have Sir Thomas Browne, Religio Medici. Then we have Isaac Walton, the complete angler. Then we have Thomas Hobbes, the Leviathan. Then we have John Dryden, Annus Mirabilis, All for Love, Easy, easy of, sorry, it should be essay of dramatic poesy. If I have typed it wrong, I guess. Conquest of Granada, Absalom and Achitophel, Religio Laici, The Hind and the Panther, Alexander's Feast, or The Power of Music. Then we have Samuel Butler, Hudibras, a style of Puritans. I think I failed to mention other works. Then we have John Bunyan, Grace Abounding, The Pilgrim's Progress, The Life and Death of Mr. Badman. Then, just in the passing, we have Sir William Temple. Then we have John Locke, important essay from the perspective of psychology and understanding of human mind, essay on human understanding, thoughts concerning education. Then we have John Evelyn, famous for writing diaries during an important period when writing was not permitted, at least the publication of it. Then we have Alexander Pope, very important writer, Pastorals. Then we have an essay on criticism, Messiah. Then we have the Rape of the Lock, important mock epic often cited. Then we have Windsor Forest, the translation of Iliad, the works of Shakespeare. Then we have translation of Odyssey, the Dunciad, Essay on Man, important work. Then we have an epistle to Dr. Arbuthnot. Then we have Matthew Pryor, The City, House and Country Mouse, parody of Hind and Panther. Then we have Alma, or The Progress of Mind. Then we have important playwright William Congreve, The Old Bachelor, The Double Dealer, The Way of the World, all these important plays. Then we have John Gay, The Shepherd's Week, Trivia, or The Art of Walking on the Streets of London, The Beggar's Opera, and Achilles. If you don't know Bertolt Brecht, he adopted The Beggar's Opera for his play, his famous play, The Mother Courage. Then we have Robert Blair, The Grave. Then Daniel Defoe, A Shortest Way with Dissenters. Robinson Crusoe, Captain Singleton. Then we have the memoirs of Cavaliers, a journal of the plague year, very important work. This journal of the plague year from the historical perspective. Then we have Colonel Jack, Moll Flanders, Roxana, the Fortunate Mistress. Then we have Jonathan Swift, The Battle of Books, A Tale of Tub, An Argument Against Abolishing Christianity, Gulliver's Travels, again important work, A Modest Proposal, and then Journal to Stella. Then we have Joseph Addison, his magazine, The Spectator, in which 274 essays were published. Then we have Cato, a tragedy play. Then we have Sir Richard Steele, The Tattler, The Spectator, and Richard Steele's his pen name was Isaac Bickerstaff, and we have The Conscious Lover by him. Then we have John Arbuthnot, The History of John Bull. Then we have Samuel Johnson, important work, London, Vanity of Human Wishes, Irene. Then we have the Rambler, Dictionary of English Language, Rassilas, The Lives. It's about famous poets. Gives special importance to William Shakespeare. Then we have Oliver Goldsmith. We have The Traveller, The Vicar of Wakefield, She Stoops to Conquer, the Citizen of the World. Then we have David Hume, History of England, Edward Gibbon, History of the Decline and the Fall of Roman Empire. Again, very important work from the history perspective. Then we have Edmund Burke, Inquiry into the Origin of Our Ideas, and Reflections on the Revolution of France. Very important work, this Reflections on the Revolution of France. To this essay, Thomas Paine wrote Right of Man. Two are very interconnected. Then we have Thomas Paine, The American Crisis, Rights of Man, The Age of Reason. Then we have Samuel Richardson, Pamela, Are Virtue Rewarded, Clarissa Harlow, Sir Charles Grandison. Then we have Henry Fielding, Joseph Andrews, or The History of the Adventures of Joseph Andrews and of his friend Mr. Abraham Adams. This is the complete title. Then we have Tom Jones, Amelia. Then we have Tobias Smollett, The Adventure of Roderick Random, The Expedition of Humphrey Clinker. Then we have Reverend Lawrence Sterne, Life and Opinions of Tristram Shandy the Gentleman, important work. Then we have playwright R.B. Sheridan, all the important plays, The Rivals, St. Patrick's Day, or The Scheming Lieutenant, The School for Scandal, The Critic, or A Tragedy Rehearsed. Then we start with important work from the historical perspective of Gothic novels. Horace Walpole, he's the one who started this genre with Castle of Otranto. Then we have Anne Radcliffe, Romance of Forest, The Mysteries of Udolpho. Then we have James Thomson, his poems, I guess, Seasons, Winter, Summer, Spring, Autumn. Then we have William Blake, Poetical Sketches, Songs of Innocence, important work. The Books of Tell, then Songs of Experience, again very important work. Then we have Thomas Gray, On a Distant Prospect of Eton College. Then we have all the most cited work and elegy. The elegy written in a country churchyard, which he took a lot of time, almost, I guess, 20 years to write this elegy. He kept rewriting and rehearsing it. Then we have The Progress of Poesy, Ode on the Death of Favorite Cat, The Bard. Then we have Robert Burns, The Cotter's Saturday Night, A Red, Red Rose, To a Louse on Seeing One on a lady's bonnet at church. Then we have William Cowper. God moves in mysterious ways. Only hymns. The task. Now, I think we have reached to the end of the first part. I hope you liked this effort. I tried something new. Please give your comments and feedback whether you liked it or not. Kindly stay connected for second version.